I just started streaming this past July, and I feel like I've learned a lot from my short experience so far, and that maybe other people could benefit from just hearing about my experience. So I decided to make a video, and let's see if I can help you out if you're interested in starting streaming. First, I think that there's this kind of perception that you have to be really young or incredibly crazy or over the top in order to be a streamer. I can definitely say that is not the case because not everyone wants to watch a streamer that's over the top all the time and full energy. Also, I'd rather watch streamers my own age, and I'm in my 30s, so I don't think that rules you out from being a streamer if you're over a certain age or if you're not totally crazy all the time. There's people that are really high energy, there's people that are cozy, and there's everywhere in between. So don't try to be someone that you're not just because you see other people acting differently on stream. Now, to go off of that, I think it's definitely beneficial that you keep everything entertaining and interesting the entire time so you don't have to be screaming and yelling and jumping up and down, but you do have to be entertaining. And that should come through in your personality and whatever works for you, but that could mean something different for everybody. For example, I stream horror games and I'm very afraid of horror games, so I tend to scream when things jump out and I'm just acting like myself. I'm totally myself the entire time. That's easier for me than pretending to be someone else. My viewers know that I'm someone who is terrified by scary games. And I'm really not kidding about that. I actually cannot play a lot of horror games off stream. I can only play them when I'm streaming. They scare me so bad. It feels like I'm playing them with a bunch of my friends. So my viewers send little jump scares to me, use channel points, and it's a lot of fun. My chat loves to troll me. That's amazing. Another thing is people follow you for your personality. So all of the streamers that I watch have a totally unique take on everything that they do. They're so different. I would say it's not necessary to be super high energy, but you really need to look like you're enjoying the game. So you need to smile and you can laugh. If you're not enjoying the game, it's going to come through and it's going to be very obvious, and no one wants to watch that. I can tell you right now. If you're just sitting there mugging your computer and playing a game, are we watching someone playing a game or are we watching entertainment? You tell me. Also, if you're someone who tends to play multiplayer games, make sure that chat is your number one priority at all times. And you've probably had this happen to you before. You join that one stream where they're just playing Phasmophobia with friends, and you feel like you watching them is invading their fun game night, and you being there, you're in there in chat, but they're not looking at chat. They're not answering any of your messages. They're just kind of ignoring you. It's not a fun time for anybody, and you don't want to watch people just playing multiplayer games with their friends. It's just not something to stream. It's just not entertainment at all. If you're a huge streamer, maybe you can do stuff like that, but when you're just starting out or a medium streamer, you can't depend on that. I would also say don't depend on just playing multiplayer games and hoping to get content out of that, because maybe you have some funny friends and you're going to depend on them to give you content and funny clips. I would not recommend that. You're actually giving yourself quite a crutch by depending on another person's personality to run your channel. I would say the core of your content should be focused on you and your personality at all times. And it shouldn't be about someone else that sometimes joins you while you play multiplayer games. I also talk to a lot of people who are really nervous about showing their face online, and I totally get that. I would say that it's important to either have some sort of avatar in the screen that people can look at and associate with you. And there's a lot of streamers who do this very well and do a really good job at it and have some really fun entertainment on their streams. So either do that or have a camera if you're brave enough to do that. But otherwise, it's really hard for the viewer to connect with you if you have no camera or no visual representation of you on the screen. So consider one or the other. If you're going to stream without either, you're going to have a little bit of a harder time growing, in my personal opinion. Another thing I learned is don't overanalyze your views and don't get upset when one stream doesn't do as well as you think it should have. And maybe that one stream was just low energy, or maybe it was at a weird time of the day, but you're going to keep overanalyzing why that stream did worse than that stream. You should look at your viewers and your analytics over a certain amount of time rather than day by day. So I would not overanalyze one day of streaming over the other. I would look at your full month of streaming and see how you did overall, and look at and not overanalyze any specific day, because a lot of this is out of your control. Another tip is how to handle a big raid. My first big raid was about 80 plus people, and I was playing Alien Isolation, and I had a heart monitor on my Apple Watch, and my heart skyrocketed to 130, and it was so embarrassing. Be ready for raiders at any minute, and have maybe a little post-it near your screen to remind you what you want to say in the moment, to introduce yourself, tell them what kind of games you play, and then thank the person that rated you, give them a shout out. Always shout out the people that raid you. I do this all the time. It's very important. When you're a small streamer and you're looking to grow, that could be someone that you could be friends with. Genuinely, you might like their stream. If they're rating you, they probably play similar games, so you might want to check out their stream too. So I do that a lot. So there's so many people that I've met on Twitch and TikTok, and I met them through them rating me, and now I'm in their community and I'm hanging out with all of them, and I found a lot of really cool streamers that way, and we support each other, and I think that's awesome. Another tip is that everyone says how Twitch has no discoverability, and the only way I've gotten people into my stream is by posting short form content on TikTok and YouTube, and I just started a new Instagram account, and I don't just post game clips, because a lot of times people don't resonate with a game clip unless it's very hilarious and really short and to the point, and as soon as you start watching that game clip, you know what's going on. So I would suggest filling the majority of your content with different buckets of information. And if you look at my YouTube channel and all of my YouTube shorts, you can see what kind of content that I make on my channel. It's about 90% videos about horror, games, movies, and about 10% game clips. And that's just sometimes, and maybe even 5% game clips. I really keep the game clips to a minimum. It's just because I don't lean on those as a crutch to build my channel, and I would suggest that you do not do this either. You're gonna have a really hard time growing with game clips alone. Sometimes the random one will pop off, but that's more of the rarity. That's actually really rare. I could really make a whole second video all about how to make content as a gaming streamer if anyone's interested. I have a whole technique on how to do this because I work a full-time job, I have a part-time job, I do a lot on the side, so how do you get it done? There's a whole technique that I have and a whole schedule that I do. I also think that your personality should be the entirety of the brand, and make it something that's uniquely you and genuinely. People want to connect with you and not some version of you that you make up. You want to be authentic in every single way. It'll be easier to grow like that. I can't imagine pretending to be someone else for years and trying to commit to a fake persona. I wouldn't suggest you get into that kind of thing. Just be yourself. Also, if you can niche down and find a specific type of game that you play, you can create an audience of people who know what to expect from you when they join your stream. They know they're going to get something fun that they enjoy. So, for example, I play horror games, so people know that I'm always going to be playing a horror game. And it's something that is easy, it's quick, it makes sense, it's a genre that I've chosen that I enjoy, and other people who join my streams also enjoy it. So they know what they're getting. It's never a surprise. And if you're really scared to get started streaming, I would say that the number one thing I can tell you is that everyone was in the same boat as you at some point. Even the biggest streamers were in the same boat you are. And you can look up stories all about how the big streamers and how they had one viewer for so long and in their stories, because it's really easy to get discouraged when you have low viewers in the beginning, and how you, especially if you're a numbers person like me and you're analyzing all of your analytics, just don't do that. Look at growth over time. It's a marathon, not a sprint. But anyways, this is just like a rambling video all about my experience so far as a streamer. It's been about 6 months. I'd also like to make some other videos all about the metrics that I've experienced over time and what things really move the needle for me, so that video will be coming. I also do want to create a separate video all about how to make short content as a streamer, and some of the ideas and schedule that I've created for myself, because I work a 9 to 5, I work a part-time job outside of this, and I still make time for it. And there's a way to do it. There's definitely things that you can do to do this if you want. If you have a really packed schedule, there's a way that you can get all the content done, all the streaming done, all the things that you enjoy in your life. And so I've made a schedule for myself. Well, feel free to follow me if this is your thing and if you're interested in this. And also feel free to join me on my streams. I stream on Sundays, Mondays, and Wednesdays on TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube. And I play horror games. So feel free to drop in and say hi. See you later. Bye.